see the show.
Hello everyone. I'd like to take a few minutes here, talk about this big news story on YouTube here with the Jake Paul arrest. Now, for those of you who may not know, Jake Paul is very well known and famous on YouTube. His YouTube channel has about 20 million viewers. I mean, literally, when he puts out a YouTube video, he's getting more people watching that than most of the time on CNN or Fox News. I mean, he is just that big. Very wealthy, very well-known YouTube person, Jake Paul. Okay, the story is here with the Jake Paul arrest. The reason I'm doing this video is there is a lot of misinformation going out, and his arrest, okay, is for unlawful assembly as well as criminal trespass. What Jake Paul did, all right, is he was with a group of protesters in Arizona, and he was filming them and documenting them for his YouTube channel, which is perfectly legal if you were in a public place. And at first Jake Paul was. He was marching with these protesters, and he was in a public place. Okay, now where Jake Paul made his big mistake, and this is just some good information to know too. These protesters entered a shopping mall which was closed to the public, okay, and there was a group of them that went in there and they started vandalizing the stores inside the shopping mall. They started breaking in the stores, looting the stores for merchandise, and engaged in all kinds of criminal activity. So Jake Paul decided to go in there, and he went into the mall with the people that criminally trespassed in the mall, that were in there illegally, engaged in vandalism and looting, and he was in there documenting what was going on and filming it. Well, lo and behold, the police came and they arrested the group of people that were in that shopping mall, looting the stores and vandalizing the stores. So Jake Paul got caught up with that group of people. Now, the misinformation that's out there is that Jake Paul was just targeted because he's a very well-known YouTube personality, and he was going to be made an example of, which is far from the truth. And not only did I read about this to get this information, I watched Jake Paul's video, and he admitted guilt within his own video. Now, Jake Paul did do some damage control and talked about charities he gave to, and what the protest was about, and that's all fine and dandy. And let me say, I do not have any personal grind. I'm not out here to, make Jake Paul look bad. I'm doing this here to clear up some really bad information, and that is Jake Paul was not targeted because he's a well-known YouTube superstar. Jake Paul is not being made an example of by the state of Arizona is a warning. Jake Paul was engaged in criminal activity, and he's going to suffer the consequences. You can be in a public place, you can film, you can document, all right, a group of protesters, whatever it may be. You can even film a group of people looting a store, rioting, engaged in vandalism, whatever it may be, if you're in a public place and you're not with them. All right? The criminal trespass charge against Jake Paul, this is a pretty easy one. The minute he stepped in that mall with those group of people, now he crossed the line and he's engaged in criminal activity by going into that shopping mall. That shopping mall was closed off to the public, and he had no business going in there. Now, if Jake Paul stayed outside the shopping mall and was filming and zoomed his camera in what the people were doing, and he's talking about it and documenting it, perfectly legal, nothing wrong with that. The other charge, unlawful assembly. This is basically a disturbing the peace charge, okay? Disturbing the peace for an individual is a charge where you're doing something that's just basically disturbing the peace. Now, if it's a group of people that are engaged in disturbing the peace in an unlawful manner, that's what unlawful assembly is. So by him being in that mall and with these group of people that were engaged in vandalism and looting the stores and other stuff, he is part of that group of an unlawful assembly. You do have First Amendment rights, okay, freedom of speech, the freedom to assemble, the protest, but everything has restrictions, okay? Take the Second Amendment, the right to own a gun here in America. Yes, you do. But there's a lot of restrictions. I can't just strap a gun on my back and go walk around a school parking lot, let's say, okay? I can't go inside a Los Angeles Lakers game with a handgun without the proper permits and so forth. I can't put an article in a newspaper and say it's free speech and come to find out that it's all false information and I'm basically out to slander somebody. So my point, what I'm getting at is, that's why there's the law of unlawful assembly. You can assemble, you can protest, you can get your voice heard. But if you do it in an unlawful manner, such as disturbing the peace, which Jake Paul was engaged with these group of people in that mall. So Jake Paul got these 2 charges of criminal trespass and unlawful assembly, and he's going to have to suffer the consequences. My opinion, what the outcome is going to be with this matter is that Jake Paul is a very wealthy person, got a big house out in Los Angeles, he's a millionaire, okay? So he's going to probably have a couple of hotshot attorneys and they'll work out a nice plea bargain for him. And he'll probably do some community service along with paying some fines and maybe restitution to the shopping mall or stores. It all hinders on what the plea bargain is with his attorneys and the prosecutor. So he'll probably do that to avoid any jail time. Jake Paul did. But main reason I'm doing this is I've seen quite a few YouTube videos. I've watched these YouTube live streams where they're saying, oh my gosh, you know, Jake Paul's just targeted because he's this well-known YouTuber, a very famous and wealthy guy. You know, they just want to make an example out of him. And no, that's far from the case. So just a little information here and a good lesson. You're shooting a video, you're more than welcome, and it's perfectly legal here in America to film activity going on, all right? If you're in a public place or if you're on private property and you have permission. But don't step over that line and criminally trespass on some property. Don't engage in unlawful assembly, okay? So this is, in a nutshell, what happened with Jake Paul, and I just wanted to do this short video here to clear up this bad information going around, and a lot of people are getting worked up, you know. So any rate, I want to say, everybody, thank you for watching my video here, as well as the videos on my channel, and a big shout out to all my subscribers. I truly appreciate you guys dropping those likes and those comments. I can't thank you enough, all right? And I try to get back with each and every one of you. So until my next video, you have a great day and take care now.